Morning, Nana. How are you this morning? It's not even actually morning. It's kind of 10 past 12 where I am. The weather's not exactly the most fantastic on the planet. It's looking a bit like rain down here in lovely, lovely old Exeter. Um, it's been an interesting couple of days. We unfortunately lost our last lacrosse match, which was a bit of a shame. Um, on Wednesday, because basically the entire pitch was completely flooded, but we had to play because it was a cup match, and so we were basically standing out in the rain for quite a long time, about 5 minutes to 10 minutes before, and we're talking torrential rain. Until the other team just finally decided to rock up. We then had to wait another 20 minutes or so before they were actually finally ready, and then we started to get going with everything. And by that time, well, the pitch was absolutely a mess. Everything was in a shambles. I mean, we couldn't even see the ball. Um, Not that I'm making any excuses, of course, but we did lose 7-6, which was a bit of a shame. So these things happen. However, we did have a very good night out that night because it was our last game of the season, and I got a little bit too drunk. Then was for my own good, which is a little bit of a shame, but that's life. So apart from that, so that was Wednesday, and now on Thursday, a little bit hungover, if I'm going to be honest with you. But then decided to go off and continue working on my Dragons essay, which is incredibly important to me, and my Roman Emperors essay, which is actually, again, a really interesting one. What I'm basically looking at is figuring out how Roman emperors are perceived in our modern media, and in particular in video games. And it's rather fascinating, actually. Historians always say that Augustus is the first emperor. He's the one that comes just after Julius Caesar, whereas everybody appears to believe in modern media that Julius Caesar, he is the original and very first emperor. And there's a big reason for that. It's because he's the one that does all the battles and everything. Augustus is a diplomat, whereas Caesar is a warrior, and we all like to start off our dynasties with warriors, which is rather an interesting thing. So that was actually really quite fascinating on Thursday, and then ended up with going out with all of my classics people to a place called John Gandy's, and we actually all did a cocktail class. Now, as you know, I'm actually already pretty good at cocktails, but you're in somebody else's house, so you can't quite just go off and do whatever you want. So it was actually really, really exciting. It was really nice to see how everybody was getting on, and to play around with different drinks and mixes and things like that. So that was actually really, really cool. And again, possibly went out a little bit longer than I should have, but no hangover the next day, so that was fine. And then last Friday, as you know, I work in a burger joint, the Grove in Exeter, and Friday was a very long day. Started work at about 8 o'clock and got all the deliveries in, and suddenly realised that the oven wasn't working, so had to start figuring out how we were going to do different pastas and things like that, without an oven working and everything. But that was all very, very fun, and an interesting day there. And I got a compliment. Somebody said that they liked my pasta, so I was kind of happy with that. That was really exciting. So I'm going to head out for a bit of fell running today, actually, which should be rather exciting. As I said, it's been quite rainy around in Exeter, so my usual run route is underwater. So, but there is a really nice hill that's just outside of Exeter, and it's perfect for fell running. Now, I don't know if you know what that is, but basically what happens is I run up a hill as fast as I can, and it's not got a path on it or anything. It's, you're kind of going through woods and things like that, and once you get to the top of the hill, you take a little bit of a break, and then looking straight down the hill, you run straight down the hill as quick as you can, trying to bounce your way off rocks and boulders and trees and things of that description. Um, it's a lot of fun, and it's really quite a fascinating thing to do. Especially as you really bounce, you feel a little bit drunk actually while doing it, because you kind of bounce off everything, and it's very good for fitness as well, because you have to run out to the side and then run up the hill and then run back down again, and it's very good for coordination and everything. So and I think that'll really help actually with all of the army projects and everything. I think that'd be really, really cool. Um, Tom, you know that my friend Tom has just asked me to go to, has just been talking to me about the fact that he's heading out to New Zealand in December time. So that should be lots of fun. So he'll hopefully be coming over in November and staying for a couple of weeks, which would be lots of fun. But of course, you've got to ask Mum before anything like that happens. That's important. And apart from that, everything else is all pretty hunky dory. And everything's pretty chill around here. Though I am gonna have to at some point clean the room because it is just a wee bit messy. You should have seen my lacrosse gear by the end of it. Oh my god, I had to wash it in the shower and it was grim, absolutely grim. But anyway, that's enough from me. I will talk to you tomorrow, but I love you lots and lots and lots, and I will talk to you tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be able to hear from you at some point as well.